Hey, this is David Wakefield with Prime Lending.
Steve Williams with the Edgewater Home Team, powered by eXp Realty.
Okay, guys, at this point we have gone just about all the way through the entire journey, and now again the heat is on me. We're getting everything finalized. Now, my gosh, your loan is clear to close, and that's magic to the ears of Steve and everyone else involved in the process.
Yeah, well, it's this is the most exciting part. You're your dream has come true, and we can't wait to see you cross that finish line with just your signatures basically, and knowing that you're going to get that warranty deed.
Exactly. So at this point, again, your loan has been clear to close. Now, the next steps from there, once the underwriter officially signs off on everything, is we're going to submit your loan to our closing department. That closing department is going to work on the final loan package. Actually, before we get that though, my operations team is going to send you the initial closing disclosure. That has to be signed at least 3 days in advance of closing. So if you're going to close on Thursday, we have to have that signed. It goes out to you Monday. You get it signed Monday, and therefore then we can close on Thursday. Now, the initial closing disclosure, if it is not signed before midnight that day, it's going to delay the closing another day. So it's very important that you get that initial closing disclosure signed. Now, this closing disclosure is not the final number, but it's going to be pretty darn close.
Real close, because and when you get it, if you can't find David, you'll find me. I'm just as well versed with how these are structured, and can go through them line by line with you and explain to you why this is prorated like this, why is the insurance like this, etc., and what these closing costs are, to make sure they match up with the way the purchase agreement has been finalized and negotiated.
Exactly. Hey, and sometimes something that might cause a delay in getting that closing disclosure out is insurance. We see that frequently where we talk about insurance, and somehow or another the buyer's going back and forth with the insurance agent trying to select it. And if I don't have that insurance number, then we can't prepare that initial closing disclosure. So we definitely got to make sure we have that lined up, well in advance of closing, so we're not running around like crazy people at the last minute trying to get insurance lined up.
Yeah, we don't waste any time. Once we get past the inspection period, we're automatically rolling you into the homeowner's insurance selection process, so that you have that well in advance of closing, so it doesn't create a hiccup at the end.
Beautiful. So and at this point, guys, so now your loan is clear to close. We've got everything lined up with the insurance. We've sent you that initial closing disclosure. You've signed that, reviewed it. Everything looks great. Now it's off to closing. Now what's going to happen is, again, my closing department is going to prepare those loan documents, send it over to the closing attorney or title company, and then it's kind of like watching Wimbledon, right? It goes back and forth as they're saying change these numbers and change that number, and the survey goes to this guy instead of that guy, and they kind of go back and forth, and they really drill down those final figures and get everything just right down to the penny. Now, is it okay to bring a cashier's check, or do people want wires?
No, they want wires today. There's unfortunately, over the years, cashier's checks have been forged and fraudulent too many times. So you have to wire the money, and we will guide you through that step, where we put you directly in touch with the title company or the closing attorney's office to get the exact wiring instructions, so that when you go walk into your bank the day before, and we advise you go in the day before closing, and have those funds wired directly to the closing attorney's escrow account. It's held there. It's not given to anybody, so that when you come to closing, once everything's been documented, been sent to David's closing department to verify everything is correct, at that point the funds will be dispersed. But it's important that you do a wire, and we'll teach you and educate you on how to set that up.
Exactly, and a very, very key point on that too, on those wiring instructions. They may come via email from the title company or the attorney. Call to verify the information though, because there are some savvy hackers out there that intercept emails, and I've actually had it happen to some of my clients. Luckily, we caught it. Where they received an email from my team, but it wasn't from my team. So somebody hijacked the email, made it look like we were changing the wiring routing information, but luckily the buyer contacted us, and we actually talked to the title company. We figured it out. We got them the right information. So don't just trust a random email. Make sure you call to verify with the title company or the closing attorney to make sure we have everything exactly right, because you certainly don't want to send your money off to some foreign country.
Yeah, no, that's the key. All our instructions will always say, please call, and then list the phone number of who to call, who to ask for, and specifically get those wiring instructions confirmed.
Right. So at this point now, you're going to go to closing. We got the numbers finalized. You wired your money. You show up for the day of closing. So what happens then?
Well, you just have some patience because it might take you 30, 45 minutes thereabouts to sign a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of paperwork when you're buying a new home. And just be prepared, be relaxed. Everywhere we go to do these closings, they've got coffee and water and sodas, and we can bring lunch, whatever you need to do. But it's a very relaxed atmosphere. But the most important things you want to bring is you want to bring your driver's license because they get to verify it's exactly you. And so that's the one thing you need to be sure you bring, other than your slippers and anything else that makes you comfortable.
That's right. And by the way, and if you're married, even if your spouse is not on the mortgage, the spouse will still need to show up and provide their driver's license and sign a couple of forms.
Yep.
So that's pretty much it. Now, once you've signed all the documents, you're going to go through, the closing attorney, title agent is going to have you sign all the documents. And then once everything has been signed and they've got all the I's dotted and T's crossed, they're going to send it over. They're going to upload it into my funding queue. And then a funder on the other side is going to grab that information, go through everything just to make sure everything is picture perfect, to make sure that every little I was dotted and T was crossed, everything was initialed and signed properly and dated just right. And if not, they're going to come back and say, wait, you need to send me that one more document. But usually it goes pretty quick. But just be prepared. Depending on how many people are closing simultaneously, it could take a little longer. And that's where having that water and maybe some chocolates is helpful if you got to wait a minute.
Yeah.
So guys, that's it. So at this point, you've bought the house, you own the house, you got the keys. And now I guess the only thing that I would say, the next step for you is to tell your family and friends what a good job we did.
Yeah, we certainly appreciate that to no end. But there's one more thing I thought I'd mention. If before we got everything finalized, if you need any referrals for a moving company to move all your things, we certainly can help assist you set that up. Done it many, many times, had different movers at our disposal, so that when you finish closing and we're sitting here popping the cork and enjoying all the goodies, you know that the movers are all lined up and you're ready to move into your new home.
And that's a great point too. And Steve and I are very well connected in the local market. So not just movers. If you need lawn care, if you need an accountant, if you need a financial planner, we're connected to all these different segments of the industry.
Yeah, it helps to work with experience, and I don't know how many decades combined we have, but it's a lot. It's a lot of years. And but yeah, we have the resources for anything you can think of.
Okay, beautiful. So that's it, guys, on the whole home buying experience. Now, one more video is going to come up, and that's going to be what happens after closing. So we're going to cover that the next time.